Everyone seems to be operating over budget right now. One Colorado sheriff has his budget and found some wiggle room to work with less money. And he tells me now is the perfect time to give something back.
I can help you. Is whole milk okay?
There is a hard-to-beat attention to customer service in Glenwood Springs, a notable town in Garfield County, Colorado. The regulars at the Sacred Grounds coffee shop know exactly what they'll get from barista Kat Magicut.
Oh, I have quite a few. Like right when I see him at the door, I can start making something.
A warm start from a familiar face on a chilly day.
I have another guy named Craig that comes in and he gets a poppy seed bagel, dark toasted with butter and a small coffee.
It's in the same spirit of service that Garfield County Sheriff Lou Vallario made a big decision recently.
It's not my money to spend, it's their money, and I have to spend it as wisely as I can with what the Sheriff's Office needs.
$2.1 million big. Going department by department, his staff found $2.1 million to cut from his operations budget and gave it back.
I think some people were thinking they were going to get a check from the Sheriff's Office, and obviously what we meant to say was it would be going back to the county general fund.
Not that the sheriff couldn't have found a use for that money. The Garfield County Sheriff's Office needs 73 vehicles to cover approximately 3,000 square miles in Garfield County. With the money the sheriff gave back, he could afford to fill each one of those vehicles for the next 2+ years. But a different kind of fuel has cushioned Garfield County through the recent changing economy. Much of the overall county budget comes from dollars generated by the oil and natural and gas industry in western Colorado.
We are fortunate. In terms of revenue, the county's been real solid, and the commissioners, to their credit, have been putting aside money in fund balances.
All this as government offices in other Colorado counties say they've had to slash spending and staff to balance their decreasing budgets.
Quietly, I'm very grateful that things were good for us in Garfield County, and we're hoping that we're going to ride out this economic storm without any of those drastic measures.
Vallario expects the nation and state's economic troubles will catch up with Garfield County possibly by next year. His move to tighten the belt comes off a year of solid revenue collection, moving the entire county to build a financial cushion for potentially lean years ahead.
We know that the next few years, because of the way the oil and gas revenues are generated, that we're going to see less of that because there's less production right now in Garfield County.
Which means Vallario is already getting used to what it means to cut back, training deputies at home instead of paying to send them out of state, asking other staff to avoid working overtime hours, whatever it takes to provide residents with the same coverage with fewer of their dollars.
It was the staff who looked at where we could save, where we could cut, things that we maybe were going to buy and said, we'll put them off for a couple of years. So I give the credit completely to the staff that were able to do that.
So far, he's done it without cutting jobs and still has some open positions to fill. The sheriff, who's up for re-election this year, also knows county leaders may use the money he returned this year the next time he outlines his expenses.
This was funds saved in 2009, so they go back into the general fund, and of course they approved my 2010 budget, but no matter how you look at it, we still saved and did not spend $2.1 million.
A decision he says has nothing to do with what the people he protects will do at the ballot box.
It's never about saving my job, it's about my commitment to the community and doing what I think best. That's why I got into law enforcement, 23 years ago.
To make sure those who pay the office salaries are happy with the service they get in return. Now, the sheriff goes on to say that crime rates within Garfield County have maintained a fairly steady level without spiking as they can do during times of economic difficulty. The next challenge for all county leadership, he says, is coming up with a new 5-year plan to look closely at all capital projects which Garfield County will pursue, expecting fewer overall revenues in the coming years.